Okay, in this video, we're gonna have some off-roading clips and then some clips about me talking about the Jeep and what was going on in the video. So the first thing about this, for this trip in this video, we actually went ahead and installed a front auto locker in the differential, Spartan front auto locker. We wanted to test it out. We also installed the American ball joint deletes. And those American ball joint deletes, all that wobble at low speeds, 30, 40 miles per hour, and you hit bumps and your steering wheel would start doing this, completely got rid of them. It eliminated any issue. The steering feels like it always does. It's not tighter or anything else. It's still the exact same steering I always had. It eliminated that horrible wobble. The one thing I will say is going at higher speeds, probably around 70 miles per hour, if there's any uneven areas in the road, you'll feel it because it wants to grab and pull because you don't have that individual movement no more. We also put some Mammoth chromoly axles on the front of here, and we're testing them out at the off-road park in Austin, Hidden Falls. And here's a clip of the first one. In this video, you actually see me come down on a ledge. When we come back up, I actually got caught up on the part where we're leaving the exit, the climb, whatever you want to call it for lack of a better term. Well, I actually got caught up on my skid plan and I had to be pulled back. We didn't show that on the video, but I just repositioned myself after I got pulled off from being high center and I was able to get up and out. So in this next clip you're going to see, that was actually a pretty bad offset camber. You can't really tell in the video, but the way that we were leaning, we were picking up on the back wheel, the rear passenger. We're picking up and leaning pretty hard, and luckily that wall was next to us to keep us from going anymore. But at the same time, we were losing a little bit of traction. Well, you didn't catch in the videos, the first time I attempted this, it was actually lifting up and almost tilting back and hitting the top of the roll cage into that wall, because that back driver wheel just wanted to keep lifting us up and back. So we backed down, we repositioned, and we're able to crawl right on out of that offset camber. And I don't think, well, it's not that I don't think, I know if I didn't have that front locker, I wouldn't have had the traction that I needed to get up, because I'm limited slip in the rear, and because the rear passenger was doing all the pushing. If I didn't have that front tire locked in, the front passenger, that front driver would have just been spinning. I wouldn't have been able to make it through. So the auto locker came through on that one, and it really saved us on that movement right there.
gonna sit right back down. Go straight.
So on this obstacle, it was actually not as scary as it felt inside the vehicle. Didn't even really feel like anything in the vehicle just going down. Had a really great spotter that helped us down. I mean, I don't really know. I'm not going to say any of the stuff that I did to my Jeep would have made it easier or harder for what I did for the weekend. But that was definitely a fun little obstacle right there. And seeing it on video is definitely a lot different than riding it inside the vehicle. And I wish we got better footage of it, but it is what it is.
My brother knows what he's doing. So he drove me to that passenger side coming down. I was like, oh my God, it's driving me crazy. I'd be shitting myself the whole way. Is he going down that side or this side? I think he's going down right over there. She's still in gear number 2. I get to get ready. That is hot as hell. Girl, that just scared the shit out of me.
That tire's off the ground.
There's no tire clearance right now. Now you're dropping. Now you're touching. You're floating again. That tire ain't even touching the ground. It's still not. It is now.
You see the video. Come to the left and then come back up here.
They come back up. He said, cut to the left and come back up.
He has a picture printed out. I didn't know. He has one printed out. You see the video? Read on him. Come to the left and then come back up here.
So on this obstacle, you can't see everything before it, and it was pretty intimidating coming up because there's some offsets on there, and you're right on the edge of a cliff, but there's a lot of trees you can see that keep you from rolling back and down. There was a laid over tree in the background you didn't see, but we had to actually drive up onto that tree to be able to turn and get in a position to try to crawl up this area. At the very end of it, you see that laid down tree. Well, there was a dugout, and I'm trying to climb up that area where my tire's just too low in there, and I'm just not getting the traction that I need. At that time, I think I was around 12 PSI, and then I aired down about 8 PSI after this obstacle right here, and it seemed to help out a lot on for the rest of the time we're out there. I was trying to get up, and my spotter was letting me know that we had to go pretty much onto the tree and hug that tree to climb up and out. But unfortunately, I just didn't have the traction because I don't think that I aired them down enough. But also with the rear not being locked, I don't think I had enough push from the rear to get my front to really dig in to get me up and over. So we had to end up backing up, repositioning, and after that, we were able to crawl up and out, almost no drama.
Turn driver, turn driver, driver, driver. Turn driver. Turn driver. You want to clip that tree and come up. Right there, go for it. Back up. there.
Now at this point in time of the day, I've noticed that something was wrong with my Jeep. Something was going on that I couldn't put my thumb on it, but I knew something was going on with my Jeep because I thought at first maybe it was my clutch messing up and going out. Because over half the day, every single time I would let off my clutch, or I push in my clutch and I let off my gas, even when my clutch engaged, my Jeep would die on me. Almost every single time my Jeep would die. If I was on an obstacle and I was leaning or I was down, I thought it was my fuel pump at first not picking enough fuel up, or my clutch going out and I'd be able to grab it. Then I started realizing when I pushed my clutch in and I was letting off the gas when my clutch engaged, my Jeep would die. If I was on an incline or decline, if I wasn't throttling on it pretty hard, my clutch would die. Whenever I'd let off my clutch without giving it gas in 4 low in first gear, which with my Jeep, I could let off my clutch completely when I'm in 4 low in first gear and it won't die, it'll just start going. Well, it wasn't doing that day. Then I realized, okay, I'm bogging down and I'm choking. I thought it was my driving skills or nerves or nervousness. I'm not sure what I thought it was, but at the end of the day, I found out what was going on was my intake air control valve, my ICA. It was gummed up with a lot of carbon. My throttle body position sensor was clogged up with a lot of carbon, and my intake valve had a lot of carbon in it too. So after we established what it was, when I came back home to Houston after this trip, I went ahead and cleaned everything out on the intake and the throttle body and everything doing with that, and now it's running just fine. Because in the video, every time I let off my clutch, I was idling around 300, 350 RPMs. And if I turn it off and I want to go turn it back on, I'd have to turn it off and turn it on several times. Well, turn it on, then it would die. Turn it on, then it would die. Turn it on, then it would die. And it would stay around 300 RPMs. And then once I realized that, man, my RPMs aren't where they're supposed to be at 750, it dawned on me at that point what was going on with it. But we got it fixed, and now she's running right. So next time we go out, see if we can't get up those obstacles a little bit easier without all the troubles that way I had. And you can tell in this video, every time I let off this clip, I would die. I had to keep starting it up, and I was getting frustrated with it. So after this part, we never turned it off for the rest of the day unless it died, because it probably took about 4 times to get turned back on after this clip right here when we turned it off.
Hold my beer and watch this. Are you brushing your hair?
Yes.
Right now?
She is. Look.
Oh my goodness. Come this way just a little. You're good. I'm good. You need to go more driver. Back down. No, back down. Yeah, straighten up. Back down. Or kill it. Turn hard drive. Driver. Let's be going forward. Driver. Go.
That quick video right there, you can see we came up to this obstacle and we leaned real hard, and my Jeep was teetering. You couldn't tell in the video, but it was actually teetering. As soon as I won that obstacle, my Jeep died on me. And then because the RPMs got too low, because I was riding the clutch a little bit, trying to feather through that obstacle, and because I didn't give it enough gas, my Jeep died on me, and it died in that lean. It probably took about maybe 10 minutes to get it started back up. I thought it was my safety kill switch for my clutch, but it was something going on. I'm not sure what it was, but after about 10 minutes I got to turn on, and it took forever to get it to run correctly after that. And then the rest of the day I was just on nerve about the way that my Jeep was performing. good trip, and it was a good shakedown on this for the upgrades that we did. Now, keep in mind that I was already going to do these upgrades, but I was debating if I wanted to go to a Dana 44 or keep the Dana 30 before I did these upgrades, because I am running 36-inch by 1250s. And at Dana 30, you know, you hear so many different things about them and what they can and can't do. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and build it, and I did. So we got the chrome ollie axle shafts, we got the upgraded 1-ton steering, we have the American iron ball joint deletes, and we got a Spartan auto locker in the front of this. It's not trussed, it's not gust, it's not sleeved or nothing. And the Dana 30 holds up really well. Now this is the first trip with a locker in the front, but throughout the whole video you can see both tires are going the whole time. They're both engaged, going around corners, no clicking, no clacking, no chattering from my front differential. For the most part, I try to let off the gas and coast around corners, but even when I had to give it gas, I just take it real slow around those corners. I never had a problem with the locker. It never binded up on me, it never jammed, it never had any issues. American ball joint deletes, I felt a huge difference in those versus the regular ball joints. My steering was tighter in the trail. I don't mean tighter, I just mean like it was more responsive. When I turned the wheel, the tires would go. It wouldn't be like, and then there's a delay and then movement. So the American ball joint deletes, I'm really impressed with those. Having them for a month, daily driving to work 17 miles one way, going on a very heavily potholed road, 70 miles per hour on the freeway, and then taking them off-road on the trails. They're amazing. I would never go back to ball joints ever again. I would definitely stick with these. And if you're debating on getting some or not, I just say go ahead and get them and pull the trigger, because they're worth it. Every single dollar, they're worth it. Then they also have rebuild kits, and they have trail repair bolts that you can have in case you break something. You can just swap them out real quick on the trail. And once they're installed, it takes about 30 minutes to swap them out. It's really quick to work on it once they're actually installed. If you have to fix one, repair it, or do whatever. So overall, I'm really happy with the upgrades that I did on my Jeep a couple weeks ago, and I'm a huge improvement on the trails. I went up obstacles this time that I was struggling on last time, and then the locker just helped me grab and go. Now, I feel like if I had a rear locker, a lot of obstacles would have been easier, but this is a little trial and error to see what a front locker will do, and next would be the rear locker. But overall, I'm not disappointed or upset with building this Dana 30. I feel like this is going to hold up, because when we first got out there, we aired down to 12 PSI, and that didn't even flex my tires. It looked like I was still aired up full PSI. We had to go down to 8 just to get some type of sidewall, spongy, interaction out of it. So next time we go out, we're probably going to air down to 5 PSI. With this front locker, I feel like it's going to change the game of climbing up some of those hills. But thanks for watching. This was my review on the ball joints and the Spartan locker, and just overall how the Jeep's been performing off-roading and stuff. Until next time, guys.